Hi guys. Alright, so we are back to going over Wednesday's Mountain Math, 11 through 15. So let's go ahead and quickly make sure that we have the correct answer. Make sure that you have your red pen out, your pencil is put away. Want to make sure that you do that so that you can get full credit. And you should have every single box filled, even if you didn't know how to do something. Every box should have something in it from the board. So let's look at number 11. We have numbers 8 and 12. So we want to know what factors can multiply together to equal one of these numbers. So let's look at number 8. What numbers multiply together to get that number? Well, 1 and 8, and then 2 and 4. So there's your factors for 8. Is that number prime or composite? It's obviously composite because it has more than just 1 in itself. So that shouldn't be too bad. For number 12, we're going to circle the numbers that the second number is divisible by. Okay, so these are all the numbers that we can divide 12 by. There's a lot of them. So obviously if there's so many, it will be a composite number. So it says find the least common multiple. And with this one, if we're able to multiply and make a T-chart of each number, we can see which multiple is in common with both of the numbers listed. And what that number will be is 24. So both of these can be multiplied with another number and get the answer 24. And that's the least one that is common. And then find the greatest common factor. Well, all of these that are circled up here are factors. Which one is the greatest of those? Well, that would be the number 4. That's the highest one that they share. Okay, so let's go to number 12. You guys should all know how to do this. Again, you've been doing this since 4th grade. It says change from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So, of course, we would go around. 5 times 6 plus 3 is 33. And then just drag your 5 over as your denominator. So you have 33 fifths. Good, number 13, you should already have this written in the box. It says 4 ninths times 6 sevenths. And these are easy because all you are doing, as you can see in this work below, you're multiplying straight across. 4 times 6 equals 24, 9 times 7 is 63, and then they both equal 24 63rds. So if you divide those by 3, you actually will get a more simplified answer of 821st, or 820, how did you say that? 821? 821st. Okay, that's what I said. I said that first. Okay.
I just say 8 over 21.
Yeah, 8 over 21. Okay. Number 14, 6%. So we want to convert that to a fraction or ratio. Well, remember, if you ever have a percent, you just put it over 100. So just put the 6 over 100, and then you can simplify. And if you divide those numbers by 2, you get 3/50. Then convert it to a decimal. Remember, that's super easy. We just add the decimal to the end of the 6, and then move it back twice. And that gives you 0.06. And then convert to percent. Well, it's already in percent form, so you just rewrite it. Yay, number 15 is one of my favorites too. It's a proportion. I love proportions. All you're doing is cross multiplying and then dividing. Or you could go from one to the next. How can we get 12 from 3? Well, we could take 3 times 4 equals 12. And then on this one, we can do 2 times 4 equals 8. So we would get 8 over 12. For this one, x equals 8. And the way we can check it is putting the two ratios next to each other, cross multiplying, and see if we get the same answer. And in this case down here, you get 24. So you should have all of this filled in. Please make sure that you have everything corrected. And then I want you to go ahead and set that to the side. Oops.
You can't just open a bank by yourself, you know. You have to have a charter and a business plan, FDIC insurance. Wow, free checking and no ATM fees? Where do I sign up? Dear Tim and Moby, we are learning about interest in math class, but I still don't get it. Can you tell me what it is? Sincerely, La Diamond. Well, interest is extra money that a bank gives you for keeping your money there. It also works the other way. When you borrow money from a bank, you can't just do it for free. A bank charges you a fee, and that's called interest too. Interest is calculated as a percent, which means the more money you have in the bank, the more extra money you get. And the more money you borrow, the more extra money you have to pay back. There are two types of interest, simple interest and compound interest. Your bank offers simple interest, huh? Okay, I've got $100 here. Let's deposit it and see what happens. I'd like to open an account, please. Wow, free toaster with my new bank account. You didn't steal this from the kitchen, did you? Okay, good. According to this paperwork, my account has an annual interest rate of 12%. That means the interest gets calculated once a year. Interest can also be calculated monthly, quarterly, and even daily. Yeah, I know, you offer yearly interest. Anyway, my $100 is called the principal. Now, to find out how much interest we get, we multiply the interest rate by the principal. Let's see, 12% equals 0.12 times $100. That's $12. So every year, Moby's bank adds $12 to my account. Add that to the $100 principal, and I'd finish my first year at the First National Bank of Moby with $112 in my account. Woohoo! Time to head out to the Ming Garden Buffet.
Alrighty, so make sure that you filled in the first half, the first simple interest part of your assignment for today. I'm going to play the video one more time for you so that you can make sure that you have all of that completed. Remember, you don't need to do anything with compound interest today. We're going to do that tomorrow.
You can't just open a bank by yourself, you know. You have to have a charter and a business plan, FDIC insurance. Wow, free checking and no ATM fees? Where do I sign up? Dear Tim and Moby, we are learning about interest in math class, but I still don't get it. Can you tell me what it is? Sincerely, La Diamond. Well, interest is extra money that a bank gives you for keeping your money there. It also works the other way. When you borrow money from a bank, you can't just do it for free. A bank charges you a fee, and that's called interest too. Interest is calculated as a percent, which means the more money you have in the bank, the more extra money you get. And the more money you borrow, the more extra money you have to pay back. There are two types of interest, simple interest and compound interest. Your bank offers simple interest, huh? Okay, I've got $100 here. Let's deposit it and see what happens. I'd like to open an account, please. Wow, free toaster with my new bank account. You didn't steal this from the kitchen, did you? Okay, good. According to this paperwork, my account has an annual interest rate of 12%. That means the interest gets calculated once a year. Interest can also be calculated monthly, quarterly, and even daily. Yeah, I know, you offer yearly interest. Anyway, my $100 is called the principal. Now, to find out how much interest we get, we multiply the interest rate by the principal. Let's see, 12% equals 0.12 times $100. That's $12. So every year, Moby's bank adds $12 to my account. Add that to the $100 principal, and I'd finish my first year at the First National Bank of Moby with $112 in my account. Woohoo! Time to head out to the Ming Garden Buffet.
Okay guys, so now that we've watched that, you guys should have half of the front of Brain Pop and half of the back of brain pop paper done. And we will look at that tomorrow, again, once we go over compound interest. But today, we're going to be going over simple interest. So I want you to turn to the next clean page in your journal. And I want you to go ahead. Let's title this Simple Interest. Okay, and let's go ahead and put the date. It's going to be the 30th. Alright, and if you guys could go ahead and flip to the front of your journal and write in simple interest on your table of contents on the correct page number that you are writing on, that would be great, so we can keep ourselves organized. Okay, so simple interest is when we are when we're wanting to borrow money. So if I wanted to borrow money from Miss Hendee, and she said, okay, you can borrow $20 from me, but because I'm letting you borrow $20 from me, you're going to have to pay me back a fee, an extra like couple of dollars, because I let you borrow it. Okay? That's what interest is when we're borrowing stuff. But the other way, if I decided I wanted to go put my $20 in the bank, okay, if I had my own $20, not Miss Hendee's, but my own, and I went and put it in the bank's like, hey, we'll hold your $20 for you, and because you're letting us hold your $20, like our bank, we're going to give you a couple of dollars on top of that in your bank account, just because you chose us. So if you chose Chase Bank over Wells Fargo, they're very competitive. So it goes both ways. So what I want you to do is simple interest is a fee that you pay if you are, I'll put this in red, borrowing money. And then I'm going to put this. Or if you are saving money with a bank, they may pay you interest let's say pay you interest, which is extra money for choosing them to hold your money for you. Kind of like I just said, like if you're borrowing money, then you owe a fee. But if you're saving money, then you're getting paid. So interest can be a good thing, it can be a not so great thing. Okay. So just for example, we'll kind of do this like we did on our sales tax. This is exactly like sales tax. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to write an example over here. And over here, we're going to write steps to figure out simple interest. Okay. So you should have everything I'm writing. I want to make sure you're caught up, make sure you're writing everything down, and make sure you can read it, because it's not going to do you any good if you can't read your own notes. Okay, so step 1. You're going to take your percentage. You're going to change the percent to a decimal. These are going to be almost like the exact notes from sales tax. Okay, so we're going to do that first. Okay, and then second, do we need to change our percentage? Yes, okay. Alright, change the percent to a decimal. Oh, okay. Then we're going to plug in. This is so easy. I love formulas. Everything to this great formula. And everyone needs to write it fairly big. It is interest, which is a big I, equals PRT. PRT. Okay, it's going to be PRT. Now, underneath, I want you to write what those mean. The P means percent, principal, sorry. Alright. Alright, principal. Now the principal is what your starting amount is. Okay, we're going to put that in parentheses. This is so easy because it's just the amount that they give you that you're starting with, okay? Alright. Rate is your percent. But that is actually the rate. That's why it says an R. It really should be a P, but anyway, we already have one because of principal. Alright, so rate is your percentage. And then T equals the amount of time. Okay? In years. Okay. After you plug everything into your formula, if it's any of these, you know that when they're right next to each other, they're multiplying each other. Okay? So it's any of those, you're just multiplying. So you're going to, and it depends on what you have, but you're going to solve for the missing, how is it? The missing variable. Because the variable is a letter. So okay. So let's get an example. Let's get an example, Miss Hendee. Why don't you give us an example?
Okay. Miss Hendee's husband borrowed $600.
Make sure you guys are writing this.
Borrowed $600 for some sound equipment. This actually happened.
Okay, this actually happened. True story. Okay. Okay.
He is paying 10% simple interest over 3 years.
Okay.
How much he pay in interest? And then as a follow-up question, how much will he pay total?
There's two questions to this. Okay. So the first thing we want to look at, thank you, Miss Hendee, for that question. All right, the first thing we want to look at is we want to identify what everything is. So let's see. We don't know the interest, okay, but we do know the principal, which is the starting amount. So how much did he borrow? Well, he borrowed $600, okay. The rate is your percentage, which is paying 10%. And then T is the time, which is how many years. Okay, so we've got all our stuff that we need to plug in, right? So let's go ahead and start by changing, and you know what, we're not going to have enough room total over here, so let's go ahead and continue right here. So the first thing we're going to do is change our percentage to a decimal. So let's take our 10%, and when we change that to a decimal, remember our decimal is back here, and we're going to move it twice to the left. Okay, so that's going to end up being 0.10. Great. Alright, and that's going to be our rate. So let's just put that equals R. Alright, our second thing, well, we're going to be plugging all of this into our formula. So before we do that, let's go ahead and get our T and P, which is our time and principal. So we already have R, which is 0.10. T, which is our time, is 3 years. And P, which is our principal, is $600. So let's go ahead and plug this in. So we've got interest that we don't know yet, equals principal, which is 600. Times rate, which is 0.10. Do we need that 0 on the end? No, we don't need that 0 on the end. So this will make us a little bit easier when we multiply. And then T, which is 3 years. Now all we have to do is multiply. So let's go ahead and do this one at a time. Let's do, it doesn't really matter which one we do, so we can just do these first. So 600, I'm going to go over here to do my work. Okay, so I'll go ahead and separate. And the missing variable that we're missing is this I right here. Okay, so we're going to figure out what that is. So 600 times 0.1, or 1/10. So let's do that. 600 times 0.1. So we've got 0, 0, 6, and then how many digits are to the right of that decimal? Just one. So that's 60. Okay, so far we have 60 right here. And then let's go ahead and bring down that 3. Okay, we didn't do anything there. All we did was multiply the first 2. Okay, and now what we have to do is to work out 60 times 3. So if we go over here, and I know some of you probably did this in your head, but let's go ahead and do this just to make sure. So 0 times 3 is 0, 6 times 3 is 18. So we're going to go back over here, and our interest is going to be $180. So let's look back up here. It says, how much will he pay in interest? Well, do we know that now? Yes, we do. So first, his interest is going to be $180. Now, how much is he going to pay in total? Well, we know he's going to pay $600, right, for the sound equipment. But then the fee that they're charging him to borrow that money is $180. So if we add 600 plus $180, that's $780. So let's go up here. Our total is $780. Now, basically this is the same thing as sales tax because we're changing our percent to decimal. We're multiplying our percentage to our total, but we're also, in this case, multiplying it by time. Okay, that's the only difference there. But you're still multiplying the percentage, which is a decimal, and you're getting an answer. And then you're taking that answer and you're adding it to the original total, or the original amount. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and pull out, oh yeah, that's right, on your notes, so go ahead and go to the next clean page, just on the back of this one, and you need to go ahead and put example number 2. Okay, and let's go ahead and just carry on our title here. Simple interest. And I always put just like, okay, we're continuing, so continued. Okay, and we're still in the same date, 9:30. Okay, simple interest continued. So Mr. Berger is going to go through another example with you. And I want you to write everything that he writes in your notes on this page. Make sure that you write it very neat. Make sure that it's not too messy so that you can read it and you can look back at your notes in order to know how to do this concept. So,
and after the video, you're going to continue. You have a page with 4 problems on it for simple interest. And so you'll need to work out the first problem with a partner. The second problem, you can ask your partner if you have questions, but I want you to try to do it on your own. And then problems 3 and 4, I need you to do completely on your own. You're going to be looking at those. You're going to be filling in each box, writing down what the interest is, writing down what the rate is, the principal, the time, all of that, and then calculating the interest using the formula, and then adding the interest to your principal to find out how much you're going to be paying or earning in total.
You know, a lot of times in life, and this is going to sound a little bit funny, it turns out we want to buy money. That's right, you want to buy money because we need more money than we currently have, and so we buy it with the agreement that at some later point we're going to pay it back at some interest rate. And that's a percent, and so that brings us to figuring out how we can buy money given the percent. And the simplest example of that can be shown with this sort of nice formula here. This gives us sort of simple interest. So suppose that we'd like to take the principal, that's the amount of money that we want to borrow, or maybe on the other hand, in the happy situation that we have money and we want to basically sell it to someone else and invest it and get some interest back, like put it in a savings account or buy a bond. So that's the principal amount that we start with or that we want to borrow at the beginning. R represents the rate of interest, and that's the percent charged or the percent that we're going to get back if we are the lender. T is the amount of time in years that we're going to actually perform this transaction. And then when you multiply all those 3 numbers together, what you get is the simple interest. How much we have to pay if we're buying the money, or how much we get back if we're actually investing the money. So this formula, although it looks a little bit threatening, is just the product of the principal, the rate, and the time, and that produces the simple interest. I'm going to abbreviate that so we can sort of look at it together to just this, and we understand what all of those characters mean. And in all the questions that we'll consider, the issue is what is what? And once we insert all the data, it's just a matter of solving a simple equation. Let me show you what I mean with an example. So Thurston borrowed $5,500 from his sister-in-law for 3 years at an annual simple interest rate of 3.5% to buy a car. How much interest will he pay if he pays the entire loan off at the end of the 3rd year? And then there's a little follow-up question, which is, what is the total amount he will pay? So the first question asked us is, how much interest will he pay? So we have to figure out interest. Well, let's just see what we know and what we don't know. Well, the interest, that's what we don't know. But P, that's the amount that Thurston's going to borrow. And we know that's going to be $5,500. So the interest is going to equal $5,500 multiplied by the rate. Now, what's the rate? The rate is 3.5%. Now, we're going to convert that percent to a decimal number so we can multiply. That means we take 3.5 and divide it by 100, or the shortcut, move the decimal point 2 units over to the left. And so I'd see we're going to multiply that by 0.035. And then I multiply that by the time in years. Well, he's going to repay this back in 3 years, so I put a 3 here. And so I have to figure out I, and that just involves multiplying all these numbers together. And when I do that, I see $577.50. And that's money, so we put a dollar sign there. So that's the interest that Thurston's going to pay. But look at the second part of the question. The second question asks, what is the total amount he will pay? Well, the total amount he will pay will not only be the interest, but the amount that he borrowed to begin with. So we have to take this amount and add on top of it the $5,500. So total amount is going to be $5,500 plus the interest of $577.50. We add those numbers up, and we get the total amount that Thurston borrowed from his sister-in-law to be $6,077.50. This is a very useful formula in order to figure out simple interest, and it's a great illustration of percents. Neat.